Heyo peeperoonies, KP here with yet another video. Wowie, on a roll. Let's see how long I can keep this up. First, before we get into this video, I have my card done, so here's that. And again, I'm on Team Fossil, and I don't do friendly fire. I will be doing at least 1 to 2 recap videos for my ArtFight this year, and maybe more. Subscribe if that might interest you. Also, maybe subscribe if you like art and OCs, because that's like what I love to talk about most on my page and channel and stuff, so that's primarily what I post, yes. On the 27th, I posted a poll on my community tab asking which set of characters you wanted to see from my ArtFight next, and you guys voted for last year's least favorite this time. I wanted to change up the formatting for this video a little bit just because there were so many of them, unfortunately. And we'll start off with OCs that I don't plan on putting in another video, and they had no attacks last year, minus the one mass attack that I got that had all of the characters at the time in it. Then I will have a brief section for OCs that only got drawn in attacks with their counterparts, and then characters that got 1 to 2 attacks last year, and lastly the honorable mention section for OCs that I plan to be in a different video or ones that have already been in a previous video. But with that pre-ramble out of the way, let's get started. Our first category is the Undrawn. First we have my character Lara Della Darling. She goes by Lara, or when she's performing, Del Darling. She is a singer and a social media star, and she has 2 versions, a human form and a duck girl form. Technically both of them are canon, just like different timelines and stuff. And my fellow DuckTale fans, here is my contribution. If you draw DuckTale characters and you're interested in my characters, then this is one of the ones for you. West is the antagonist for my character Rhodey, or Kistrana, and is also her ex-fiance. He is very tall, maybe just a little evil. Okay, he's pretty evil. If you know Minecraft Diaries, think Zane Romave, okay? He was one of the main inspirations for him personality-wise, so think that kind of evil. Last for this section is Ulf. He has 2 forms. He is a wolf dog and he's immortal, and he was married to his beautiful wife, Clover. Then there was a war that was happening, and they became separated. The connection that they had via the magic that gave them their more human forms dissipated, and he feared the worst, and he thought he would never see her again. He decided that he would never love another because Clover was his world. But skip forward a couple hundred years, and he runs into someone who acts almost exactly the same as his wife, not to mention looks very similar. Something doesn't seem quite right about this situation. There's no way this can be the same person, right? Alright, next category, pairs only. These are characters that did get attacks, but it was only with their counterparts. This is excluding that one mass attack or characters that were on the same page, because I expect those ones to be drawn together more often than not. So first we have Cass. He is my goobery guy. He is a painter and a guard in a small town. He moved there for a change of pace, and there was a short florist who catches his eye, and he feels instantly enamored by her smile and presence. I love this guy, chat. Look at him. Ugh. Now that I can draw guys better, I need to draw him more once ArtFight is over, for sure. All the art he got last year was with his love interest, Rhodey or Kistrana, and I love ship art of my OCs so much, so it's like not a big deal to me, but he didn't get any solo art. So who knows, maybe this will be his year to shine. Second to last character for this section is Peony Angles. She's the happy one of the Angle twins. She has the ability to feel, absorb, and convert positive emotions into energy. She is a very happy lady and a little too much for her sister to deal with emotionally. Peony does have a daughter named Tabitha, but she does end up dying on a job gone wrong, and Poppy has to adopt Tabitha. All the art I got of her was with her twin sister Poppy, which again, I don't mind at all. I mostly put her up for the intention of having her be drawn with her sister, but again, maybe it's Peony's here also. Our next category is the 1 to 2 attacks. This category is quite large, so I'm going to try and talk a little bit fast, but also I gave them all descriptions, so let's see how this goes. Taylu is my sweet girl. She's based on some cats that I had a few years back, and most of them are in fact gone now, so she is very dear to me. She's also a fashion design student and does modeling for extra cash on the side. Poppy, my sweet Poppy Muffin. Poppy has the power to read people's emotions, absorb them, and then convert them into light energy, just like her twin sister. Only her powers only seem to work with negative emotions, and they weigh quite heavily on her. The longer she holds on to these emotions, the more disheveled she becomes and likely to blow. She grows large wing-like structures made of pure energy, much like her sister Peony, only it's a more damaging over the long run. This spicy little individual is Mira. She's probably one of my more tragic characters, backstory-wise, because her entire backstory takes place in a memory. Because after a reality-shattering event happens, she comes to the conclusion that someone needed to sacrifice their soul ticket, which, if you want me to go more in depth on soul tickets in the future, I can, and ascend to becoming a prime mortal being. The catch is the person would completely be erased from the timeline and would not be remembered by anyone, and they would no longer have any impact on the timeline. When this happened, all of her memories and experiences across every timeline condensed, and she was faced with the overwhelming grief of losing loved ones she hadn't even ever met in her timeline. And my lady Maisie Sweetcorn. Maisie is a famous child actress, but after becoming an adult and getting married to Hubert, she stopped going out and left the limelight. Maisie also has a pretty sad backstory, but most of her story takes place when she's dead as a ghost. So she's known for her smile and being able to see the bright side of things. Even though she is quite sad a lot of the time, she does try to make sure that everyone else thinks that she's happy for their own sake. Next is Calypso. Calypso is a scientist and a bit of a prodigy, working on trying to find a treatment for those afflicted with Void, which is a fictional ailment that affects a lot of my characters, Calypso included. Again, I can make videos on all this stuff after ArtFight's over and I get through the other videos on my list of videos that I'm currently working on. She starts to grow weaker and weaker as the years go on from Void, and she decides to have a child for her partner so that they can have an heir, because Victory comes from a noble family. So they agree and they have little baby Morana. She'll be up on the page also. Calypso dies very shortly afterwards, and her daughter doesn't even look like her at all, so Priya is my Spider Sona OC Goober type of lady. She does have a backstory that works in my main storyline that is separate from the Spider-Man stuff, but, you know, she's advertised as a Spider-Man Sona. Sorry. She, once again, you guessed it, is a character with a tragic backstory and has Void. Losing her girlfriend, Gwendolyn, is what triggers her to become a hero and do hero work, and in the main timeline, join Guardian. She is very good at knitting and crocheting, and she loves to make little hats, mittens, and scarves and stuff like that for the kids with Void that are in Tranquility City. She also loves to ice skate. Tranquility City is iced over most of the year, and ice skating is a very popular form of transportation there. Alright, last character for this section is my sweet fluffy-tailed Zeus or Zesqueda. She is the youngest of 13. She has 2 soul tickets, which is a very, very rare occurrence. And she's also a Scythe, which are a humanoid that take on a form of either an animal, plant, or other type of organism based on a mysterious energy form that is in their soul tickets. A little bit of genetics also plays a role in this. And well, because she has 2 soul tickets, she technically has 2 different animals inside of her, but because they're so similar, most people wouldn't even notice if they didn't know. She is a Scythe of snow leopards and clouded leopards, so like I said, pretty similar. We're on to the honorable mentions. So for previous video, some rapid fire. These are all characters that fall into the least popular category, but also were in the previous 2 videos, which if you haven't watched those yet, you totally should when you're done watching here. First we have Jason, then we have Erwin. Piper was not on Erwin's character page yet, so she doesn't count. And Exuli. They got no art other than the 1 mass attack I got, and then Calliope and Sarzana fall into the 1 to 2 artworks category. These are characters that I have slated for the next video, obviously, and it's just Calamcy. She falls into the no art, so let's see if this turns around this year. Then I have an upcoming video that is all about siblings, and most of the characters that didn't get drawn last year or barely got any art last year do fall into this category, so I'm giving them their own section in this video. First we have the triplets, Ether, Andromeda, and Comet. Then we have Zen, who I this year added all of his siblings, so that will be in the upcoming video as well. Next was Fern, Fran, and Forthsia. They did get art, but it was a lot less than they normally do, so they fall into this category for last year. Lacey and Victory, they're going to be in the sibling video because I added their other sibling, so I'm super excited for that. And lastly, Briar and Blair. And with all that out of the way, I just want to remind everyone that the important characters in another character's story will be linked in their description. And if they don't have the ArtFight profile, you can use my Toy House character code to get those sweet, sweet points. with that, let's move on to my closer. So first off, I just want to say thank you for all the love and support on my latest ArtFight videos. It really means a lot to me, and I will have a more dedicated section for a proper thank you as well as an announcement in the next video. So if you want to make sure you don't miss that, subscribe and tap the little bell icon to be notified the next time that I upload. You can also like the video and comment to help boost the video. Today's comment question is, if you're doing ArtFight, what OCs do you hope get the most art this year? Also, tell me what team you're on and how excited you are. And let me tell you that I am very excited. I believe that's all until the next one, which should be very, very soon. Bye-bye!